Hi guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL fantasy review of the Brisbane vs Melbourne game that happened Friday night, and how I guess the lights went out at the Gabba for the first time in the AFL and the second time overall. So that was, I guess, an interesting and a weird break, and one of the latest games that will ever finish on a Friday night, I think. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe. It's been really good growth on the channel. Let's hope that we can continue that. And now let's get into the video. So again, I've got it set up for DT Live. Let's see if I can increase this to help you guys out a little bit. There we go. And so Zorko did really, really well from the Brisbane. We'll start with Brisbane, then go over to Melbourne. I think I didn't actually really notice him too much, but he basically played 3 quarters and got 116, which was enough for his value. He's valued at 731, break even of 91, so he beat it by 25. And so for first game of the season to beat his break even, it sets him up pretty well. And now let's quickly do a quick check on here. Why did I do that? And now let's just set this up here. So Zorko is owned by 0.45, so it didn't really hurt that he scored well. And I think just the problem he has with injuries means that you can't really go for him. Dunkley came back really, really strong in the second and fourth quarters to basically save his score. And yes, he has a massive break even, but because the comp basically all have him. If we look here at Dunkley, I have him down here. 76% owned, that is huge. So it basically doesn't matter. Whatever he does is going to affect pretty much everyone. Harris Andrews scored pretty well, but he's such low ownership and he's got a low break even for a reason. That's why Harris Andrews probably isn't the best pick. Then you got Lachie Neale here at he scored 94 in the end. He looked to try and get those cheap little marks behind play, the likes of Mills did. But if we look at his actual output on here, we look here and match stats. He only had 27 disposals and 8 marks, no tackles, and that's pretty bad, not gonna lie. So he's not up to the standard that we expect at the moment, and hopefully he can get up to that standard sometime soon, I guess. Ashcroft did amazing, and anything over like 60 for Ashcroft. I know it's just sort of there isn't gonna, I guess, is he 67% owned? Is that what we're talking about? No. With Ashcroft being such highly owned, what's he at? 76% owned as well. Is that a glitch? No, they're both 76.9% owned. So with those two being such high ownership, basically what we're doing is now just trying to stack the cash, and then I guess the differential will be when we pick the different players. And right now Ashcroft, we just hope he gets into the 500k range, low 500k, so that we can combine him with a rookie or two and have that already stacked a little bit of cash away and get him up to a massive player. Berry did alright but got injured, so do not go for him. He got injured right at the end of the game, which kind of showed that even though they have to have an integrity of the game, I guess, by playing it out to some sort of the same intensity. He was just unlucky to get injured. Danaher looked really good, but he's a key position player, so don't go for him. McInerney did what McInerney was, I guess, expected to do against the dual ruckman here, and I guess he didn't do outstandingly well, but he had, I'm guessing that's probably 35 hit outs or so. If we go over here, I think it was around 35 or so, 25 hit outs, so he's just going to be at that 70 so or so average around that. Hugh McCluggage, as I said, I don't think he's going to be that influential. I saw him around the park a little bit more, but he just faded away in this second quarter and the third quarter as well. He had a really good start to the the last quarter, but I don't know whether that's just adding on to the points in the third or not. So, and then you come down to a lot of these guys here are just the guys that will not score that well. One guy I did want to look at is Rayner, and yeah, he's just not scoring enough for that position. And then you have Wilmot will gain like 30 or 40k here probably, and he'll start to gain some cash now because he's got that break even into he'll probably be in the negative break even, I would suspect, next round. So that will be pretty good. And that'll be pretty much instant cash for him. So, and then you have no one else here as a rookie or anything really. And then you come down to Melbourne's side of it, and you have Max Gawn got injured in the first minute or something like that. In the fifth minute, basically, he got a hit out, then he got injured around 5 minutes 20. And it looks like that could be an MCL or a meniscus, which is roughly 4 to 6 weeks, I believe, somewhere around that timeline. So, yeah, you got to probably trade him out now. So that's another injury that we have. So Gawn is owned by 23% of the comp. So 23% of the comp have to trade him. And let's see, with Berry's owned by 0.5. So you'd hate to have the double of them two, because that would be your trades. Harms looked... Harms didn't look that good. Melksham came on. Petty, injury concerns as well. McVie did all right, but I think he'll be the one to get dropped soon. Tomlinson and McDonald, Spargo. Bowie didn't do well as well. Langdon, Sparrow, and then you have Chandler at 64. That's a 91 difference between his break even and his actual score, so that should be a huge jump again. If we're looking at the split that he had with his break even in the first game, it was around 83, I want to say. So with Chandler, or was it 81, and he's got a 91 split here, so you could expect another 60 or so thousand for AFL Fantasy, and that will be huge again, as he'll have another tiny break even. I expect his break even to probably be still negative, probably negative 20 or so, could be negative 30, somewhere around the same as well. And if he gets another 60, that'll be huge as well for his price. And then you have above him, you have the likes of Viney, who just didn't really do much in the last quarter and the second quarter. Only did stuff in the first and the third. Neil Bullen looked alright, but he just didn't do anything in the second quarter, which really just didn't help him. Else he would have actually come out there with a pretty decent score. Lever had a good first quarter and sort of piggybacked off that. Brayshaw, even though he had, I think it was 9 clearances or whatever, leading the whole game, except for I think Oliver had 8 and he had 9. They were 9 and 8. I forgot which order they were. He really came to play in the second half, and that sort of helped him out. But 86, he's not yet at the point where you want to trade him out, but he's getting close to the point where you want to start to think about, is he actually going to be able to do it? And then you have Petrarca, who I have at the moment, and I was, when the lights went out and I was thinking, oh, Petrarca's going to have a 65 here, I was texting mates I'm actually considering trading him out sometime soon, not this round, because I have Bruin and Constable that are major ifs and probably got to be traded out. And then he came out here and you'll see 7-3-2, and he really and also if we look here, he actually had, I think it was something he had 25 points in the 12 minutes that they were on for the after the lights out. I don't think this shows it that well, but I know it was 25. I'm pretty sure these are all within this period as well, because that's 10, 14. So that, yeah, those will all be in that period as well, I'm guessing. Yeah. So that's, so Petrarca pretty much saved his score. It does suck because basically Petrarca needs to go around 10 or 5 less than Oliver for him to have the real impact that I need. And he just isn't at the moment. Then you have Oliver went huge in the second and fourth quarter and, yeah, huge score, and I wish I'd had him now. Looking back on it, I wish I'd spent gone up to him, not Petrarca, and had the likes of probably a Setterfield or someone like that instead, and had Green, had Oliver Bont, Green, Setterfield, Sheed or Warple, probably Warple, and that would have been the dream start, but nothing I can do about it now. Hopefully I can get someone close to Oliver's average later on in the season, but that's a bad miss from me. Lockie Hunter did really well in the second and fourth, and he's one that I'll probably monitor because he could easily go score really well, but he can also score really badly. So a guy that I just need to look at and see if he's going to actually score well. Because if I look at Lockie Hunter, he's averaging 80 at the moment. He only scored 60 in the first game, and I just want to look at Oliver's percentage owned. Oliver's percentage owned is at, don't be 20s, 29%. That is bad. So yeah, Oliver's going to be the one that I think a lot of us are going to have missed, which kind of sucks, as I had him in my team like 3 days out before the game. So yeah, that's pretty disappointing. But that's the video there. Let me just switch back. So that's my video there, and then of the game between the AFL Fantasy review of the Brisbane vs Melbourne game. There will be more reviews coming out tomorrow with all of the Saturday games. I'll sort of stagger them a little bit across the week because I don't want to have sort of a blank week of videos. So they'll come out probably 2 or so videos a day of those, and then we'll get into the injuries, and then a team preview and a team review, and cash cows, trade targets, and tips videos for the rest of the week. So thanks guys, I'll see you in another video.